Good morning, everyone. Today is April 22nd, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It feels like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
The day from yesterday and the day before that and the day before that.
Was literally joking, pre-market, everyone, that we should just stream yesterday's episode with y'all just to see what would happen. All right. So currently Dow futures are down 12 points. S&P futures are down 3.5 points. We're coming out into the market sideways. So we're probably going to have some more chop. As you probably already know, yesterday we started off red in pre-market and then we went extremely green. And I expect that to be the same. So we do have one ticker this morning so far. And let's get into it and take a look. All right. Ticker KMPH. We spoke about this one, I'm thinking last week, maybe early last week, if I remember correctly. Okay. All right. So this morning, yesterday after hours, they confirmed that they received a $10 million milestone payment, and they also have some other license agreements in the pipeline here for this catalyst that is working out. Shares outstanding. We don't have no update for short interest, but shares outstanding, 28.3 million shares. The float, 27.5 million shares. And we are looking at the 5-minute chart. So yesterday, after hours, you can see it spiked up rather quickly and hit a after hours high of 10.09. So what I'll be looking for here is a break above 10.10 for an entry. I don't care about none of this right here in between. I mean, we're currently at 9.05 pre-market. I don't care about none of that. I need to see it break above the after hours high from yesterday. And this needs to happen more so today than in the future for this play to really come out with some force here, some power. So when you see it break above 10.10, that's when I'd be okay with making an entry here. And looking at the 1-year, 1-day chart, our next resistance would be around 12.10. So I'd probably take it right there. You can see this yellow line going through here. It is topping out a lot. And we are coming off of this low. So if we do break above 10.10 today, and if we still had that momentum up to about 12.10, me personally, I would definitely lock in those profits and then move on. So that is what I'm looking for today. And this is ticker KMPH.
Take a look at ORGO. Octavius is asking about, is this going to be a continuing downtrend? He's got a $25 call option expiring May 21st.
All right. Hold on, I'm just looking at something real quick. All right. So when looking at this, I mean, we can see how this thing has just been trending up for heck, like 6 months, since like last November. Just steady trending up, and we're getting to the point to where, I mean, it's just losing steam. So we can see this last little push, and then it gets into the current one, and I mean, you can just see the weakness overall. Now, another thing that would concern me here is we are currently sitting in red MACD on the daily chart, and all of this RSI that has been over the 70 threshold for like this last 6 months. This thing, it looks like it's about ready to let out some steam. And to see a $25 call to actually start becoming profitable, unless you just like got in yesterday or something, we're on the dip right here. I personally have a hard time seeing it, but that's just me. Now I don't know the catalysts that are going on with this, but you got to think steady uptrend for 6 months. All the indicators are screaming extremely just overbought, and you can see this RSI is just getting weaker and weaker while it just kept trending up, and it is about ready to unload in my opinion. So that is what I see for ticker ORGO.
Morning gapper that we have on the scan, RNLX. Someone's asking about that one. Had a morning gap up, and it's got some news regarding a U.S. contract.
All right. Last update, short interest, 352,000 shares, 1% in the float. Days to cover 2.6, so really not much there. Shares outstanding, 36 million. The float, 32.1 million. And then the catalysts that Todd just spoke about. I'm sure there are probably more, but let's look at the chart. All right, so we don't even have enough data to give me a 200 EMA on the daily chart. So I hate that right there, but let's just draw some old-fashioned trend lines. All right. So when looking at the daily chart here, we have gapped up 5 points, a little over 5 points roughly pre-market, and that is actually going to sit us. I'll draw a little line there and I'll change it to a different color for y'all. So we'll change this one to blue. All right. So this blue line up here, that's where we're currently sitting at pre-market. Now, we did have that news that made this gap up. And let's quickly go to the 5-minute chart. To be honest with y'all, if you didn't catch this gap up in this, I wouldn't chase it. What I expect to see happen here is this thing to probably dance around and play between this channel of $30.17 up to $31.61. But once this 9 EMA line right here, the actual EMA line itself starts to curl over and dips back below $30.17, that would concern me for a decent pullback on to about $28. That's what I see right here, and that's what I would watch out for. You have to think about it. How practical is it for a ticker on the daily chart to go from something like this right here and just jump all the way up to its near highs? These things usually create faders, which is they'll jump up pre-market, people will chase it, and it will fade all the way back down. So I would be willing to bet this thing is going to sell off today, probably come back down to 28, to be honest with y'all. But that is just what I see for ticker RNLX. And let me run through the comments really quick. Let's take a look at DPW. All right. Last update for short interest on DPW. Shares short, 4.8 million shares being shorted. Percent in the float, 9.75%. Days to cover, 0.5, so half a day. The share structure, shares outstanding, 49.5 million shares outstanding. The float, 49, we'll round it up to 49.2. So there's a decent amount of shares on the market, but it's not too crazy. It's still a low float. And let's take a look at their catalysts. See if they have anything going on at the moment. So I see a lot of filings, but I don't see nothing popping out to me on the top. I mean, we've had some things in the past that that caused it to make this last push up, but we're just, we're in a phase where we're selling off and we're coming down to a lot of support in this range. So what I would look for, let me draw some trend lines real quick. All right. What I would look for, since we're not really pushing up here pre-market, is for me to truly see some bullish momentum in this, I would need to see this non-EMA curl and the physical non-EMA actually cross above 325 right here. Once the physical non-EMA crosses above 325, then I would feel comfortable with going long in this and taking some shares and swinging it with a target price to probably about 545. Let's see. All right. So yeah, I'd have a target price about 545, just generally speaking, off of a technical setup. If we had a catalyst come into play, I'd be looking at about $6.70. So that is what I see for ticker DPW. Let's see. So just looking at the comments really quick. Let's take a look at CHPT really quick. All right. No information for the short interest on ticker CHPT. Shares outstanding. Ugh. This thing got a ton of shares outstanding. 295 million shares outstanding. The float is 10.7. I absolutely hate this share structure. Not going to lie. So catalyst. Let's see. All right, so it's looking like there are some recent EV catalysts starting to set up here in this ticker. So let me look for some breakout zones. All right, so with this ticker right here, what I would absolutely need to see first is it to break above 25. We'll run it up to 25.35 before considering making an entry. This will give the non-EMA a chance to break back above that 200 EMA line. But also, too, you can see where I drew that trend line, how it acts once it goes above it and below it. That's what I'm looking for right there. So if it breaks back above that, my first target range would be this high right in here, around 32, 35. And then if it kept going up, I look at about 37. Of course, if we do have a strong catalyst, this thing could literally just come up here and test all-time highs and possibly break it. But this will take a little bit more research than just kind of skimming headlines to see if it's going to do that or not. But first things first, we'd have to see this non-EMA line physically cross back above this 25, 35 mark to start seeing that reversal and put some bullish momentum back into this stock right here. This is ticker CHPT. So, Todd, that is all I have for today. Do you have anything?
No, there's nothing new. It's a slow morning. Slow morning. As always, be careful. Be safe. If you get upside down on something, it's hard to get back green. So be careful.
Yeah, stand by a second. All right. We actually have ticker UXIN popping off. Let me look at this really quick. Last update for short interest, 4.5 million shares being shorted, 4% in the float. Has a ton of shares on the market, though. I'll be honest, I already hate this. Shares outstanding, 341.5 million shares. The float, 111.3 million shares. The news that is just now coming out, there's something going on with a strategic partnership with JD.com. So it really just looks like fluff news. But nonetheless, it's pushing up pre-market here. But what I would watch out for, this thing has a ton of shares on the market. So it's going to take a ton of people to buy a ton of shares to really get this thing going. I personally don't have any hope in this. That news that just caused this thing to pop up like that, that's just a BS fluff article. We can see how it shot up here pre-market to $1.75, and it's currently back at $1.50. We could push up here, maybe test these highs, but personally, for me, I wouldn't even bother chancing it. It's not worth the chase with so many shares out in the market and not really having solid news. So looking at the daily chart here, it's gapped up. I would expect this thing to dance around in this area, do whatever, and then end up being a fader and pulling back down. With there not being much moving pre-market again, the bears are going to be looking for stuff to short, and tickers like this, it's a prime opportunity. So that's it right there. That's all I have now.
All right. Have a nice day, everyone.
All right, everyone. So y'all take care, trade safe, and don't get caught in FOMO chasing fluff articles that push small caps up like this. And if you do enter something, smaller position sizes help you keep your emotions under control. Just remember that. So y'all take care. We'll see y'all in the next one. And when you're in profits, move your stop loss up.